Hi there, Kris from Stone Age Gamer here, and welcome back to Stone Age Gaming. Since the Switch's life, well, last couple weeks ago, our last episode, I started going through my favorite Switch games ever, like the ones that really defined this generation, because the Switch 2 is likely coming soon, so the Switch does seem to be winding down. Or at least it did until the day before I recorded this, when there was a new Nintendo Direct announcing Nintendo Switch 1 games coming in next year, in 2026. So, whatever, I'm sticking with this. Regardless of the fact that the system really isn't dead, I think the generation is ready to move on. We've got a Switch 2 coming out. The Direct hasn't happened yet as of this recording, but I'm very excited about it. But I'm going through the games that define this generation for me personally, and there were a ton of them. This Nintendo Switch has got to be one of my favorite systems ever at this point, and there were so many just outstanding original games. The last time I focused on ones that I have physically. There are so many that I don't have physically that really mean the world to me, including, well, the ones that I'm going to talk about here today. So, without further ado, here's Volume 2 of the best of the Nintendo Switch.
All right, here we are, and this is my Nintendo Switch. And I put together this folder just to kind of collect most of the games that just meant the world to me on this platform that I unfortunately don't own physically, either because they don't exist or because I missed my chance and now they're stupid expensive. And there's a couple of surprising ones on here. I'm sure you're looking at the screen, looking at, a certain horse-headed fellow and being like, why on earth is that there? But trust me, I have a story. So let's start at the top. They're mostly in alphabetical order, and we're going to start with Animal Crossing New Horizons. I loved the GameCube game when it came out, and I spent a ton of time with that, and I spent a lot of time with the DS game, which was great, and I skipped the Wii one entirely because I just didn't feel like I was ready for another Animal Crossing. But then the New Leaf came out on 3DS, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So when this game came out, like right at the height of the pandemic, it just could not have come out at a better time, and I obsessed over this one. I know a lot of people talk about the features in New Leaf, how New Leaf is just such a better game, New Horizons is trash. I think those people are nuts. Like, yes, New Leaf has some stuff that I wish New Horizons had, and yes, New Horizons has a bunch of limitations that I don't think need to be there. That said, the bigger inventory, the way the museum looks, I fell into this one so much deeper than I had the previous ones. And yeah, I'm sure the pandemic played some part in that, but this was the only one that I finished the museum in. I just loved the way they streamlined, giving fossils instead of having to mail them away like you did in the original game. I loved the expansion of the inventory slots that just made everything feel so much better. I liked the island motif and building up my town based on that. I just love Animal Crossing, and I wish there was more for the villagers to say. I wish there was more stuff to do once you kind of finish doing the basic tasks. Like, it seems crazy to me that there isn't more of a reason for me to come back to this game. That said, I put just an obscene amount of hours into playing this game, and so did the rest of my family. My kids were old enough to, get in on my town as well, and my wife got in on the town. I think this was her first Animal Crossing game, and we all just had a blast building the town together and collecting weird objects and decorating our houses and paying them off and watching meteorites fall down, and we just had so much fun with this one, and I really can't wait to see what they do with this franchise next, because there's going to be another one. There has to be. This has become one of their biggest titles, so I'm pretty jazzed about it. Love Animal Crossing New Horizons. Next, I'll just talk real briefly about Arcade Archives, specifically that they finally did Nintendo stuff, because this is the official arcade versions of Nintendo games have not been made available like ever. And no, this Donkey Kong version is not perfect. This does not have the weird sound changes every time Mario steps his footsteps, but it's an officially licensed version of the original arcade Donkey Kong that I can purchase. And I grabbed this and Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3 and both Punch-Out games, even though the Super Punch-Out is only the Japanese one, which kind of irks me because I miss the English voiceovers that the North American arcade version had. But still, that I can have these games on a home platform. The original arcade Mario Brothers, always been one of my favorites. I can play that officially on a home console. It's one of those things that you can't make up how exciting that was to me. I love that Arcade Archives was able to tackle these games with Nintendo, and I don't know, maybe we'll see more of them someday, and I'm pretty sure there are a couple other Nintendo arcade games out there that haven't been ported to Switch or any other platforms yet that I'd like to see. I wouldn't mind having a little sheriff on here or something, who knows. But yeah, there's a lot of neat history there, but the fact that these exist at all, I think is marvelous. All right, this is Bomb Chicken. I know this game exists physically, and I'm sad that I don't have it. I had never heard of Nitrome before, and I can't remember where I saw it. I think I just saw a trailer for it or something when I was perusing the eShop before it became flooded with absolute nonsense. But Bomb Chicken is so good. This game is so good, and I was absolutely obsessed with it for a decent amount of time. I beat it, and it was so much fun. You play as this like really goofy looking chicken that's trying to escape a facility where they make chicken products like KFC, and you poop out bombs. You just like stack up these explosive towers of bombs to get around. It's such a clever game. It's got such a great look to it, and it is so much fun. I absolutely adore this game, and more people should play it. It's so good. It's so good. And Nitrome wound up doing the Shovel Knight dig. So like I haven't seen them do anything since Shovel Knight Dig, which had that great look to it. I liked Dig. Didn't blow me away the original Shovel Knight did. But still, regardless, Bomb Chicken, phenomenal game. Absolutely love it. Okay, next up we have Blossom Tales. So here's the thing about Blossom Tales. I love the story behind the game, where this studio worked real hard on making this game, and they didn't make any money on Steam, but then they dropped it on Nintendo Switch at just the absolute right time, and it made them a bunch of money, and now the studio is doing great, and they made a Blossom Tales 2. So I love that story, but also the game itself really stuck with me. It's it's very much a Zelda-like game, like a traditional Zelda, like Link to the Past kind of stuff. But it's got a really cute narrative. The writing is really well done. The puzzles are fun to solve. The combat is pretty decent. But it's just overall a really delightful game. It doesn't jump into this like life-altering 10 out of 10 territory, because it doesn't have to. It's just good as it is, and I greatly appreciate it. I think the game is well worth playing, as is its sequel, and I can't wait to see what the studio does next. Now, moving right along here, I'm realizing that I forgot one. If I'm going alphabetical here, and I need to find it right now, because if I don't, I'm going to forget about it by the time I make the next video, and I can't believe I went right past it. Where the heck is it? Oh, you stinking alphabetical order. I have way too many games. There it is. Celeste. Holy cow. How did I put this thing together without talking about Celeste? So Celeste is a phenomenal game. Celeste is it's one of those ultra hard, almost like Meat Boy style games where you're doing a side-scrolling platforming stuff, and you got to do it really quick and really precise. And there's a bunch of harder and even harder levels, the B sides and the C sides and the D sides, and who the hell knows. The music is phenomenal. The narrative is what really grabbed me, because it seems like it's just a game about trying to climb a mountain, but it's a game about making peace with yourself and overcoming depression. There's a part in the game where you literally play through your character having a panic attack. It's one of those times where I just had to stop after that sequence was done, being like, I can't believe I just did that. That's pretty wild. This game really floored me in just about every respect, and I know there's all sorts of stuff surrounding its legacy since then, including the original creators not getting along with each other anymore. But regardless, this original game, the character of Madeline and in particular, just really resonated with me. And I didn't think it stuck the landing perfectly, because there was this really impressive point toward the middle of the game where you meet somebody else who's going through a similar bout of depression, and you wind up working towards getting better, and this guy does not. He gives in to his demons and becomes a literal demon and is chasing you around to some, again, incredible music. And I really liked the message that you can't save everyone. Like, no matter how much you may want to, when it comes to depression, you really need to take care of yourself. When it comes to mental conditions, you've got to take care of yourself. And you can't always put all of your energy into helping the people around you, no matter how much they may need it, because you may not be able to save everybody. And in the end of the game, that character winds up being okay, which I thought was kind of an odd betrayal of that particular moment that I thought was really well put together. But regardless, Celeste is a phenomenal game, and it has earned its reputation. Cuphead. So I've never finished Cuphead because I'm just not good enough, but this is one of those games that its animation style kind of took the entire industry by storm. This show wound up getting a freaking Netflix show or whatever, which was pretty neat. This game really took off, but this one holds such a special place for me because this was an Xbox thing. And this game kind of feels to me like one of the marks of Microsoft's turn into just being like, you know what, we're going to put games where we think they'll sell. And you can say what you will about their strategy, which has been divisive, to say the least. They're in a really weird place in the industry right now, but Cuphead is on all platforms, and it did really well on Switch, and it performs incredibly well on Switch, and it's such a fun game with such a neat aesthetic, and I think it really put a lot of emphasis on how great 2D hand-drawn animation can be in sprite-based gaming. Which there's another game on this list which we probably won't get to until the next video, but you were starting to see some of this stuff pop up, like, you know what, 2D games can actually look stunning. If you put in the effort, you can make 2D games look outstanding. And people have been doing this kind of thing for ages, but this was the game that really kind of blew that up as far as public visibility, I think. It's a game that means the world to me, and I'll never finish it because I just don't have the patience, but I'm most of the way through it. I think I got like 3/4 of the way through the game before I just hit a wall and was like, I just can't, I don't have the reflexes anymore. I'm too old. Okay, this is a big one. This is a huge one. This is Dadish. If you ever listen to the Stone Age Gamer podcast, you've heard me talk about these games before. A friend of mine, Mike, recommended this game to me on a whim. He said it was pretty cool, and he had no idea how much I would fall in love with this game because he thought it was all right. I became just full-on obsessed with it. Dadish is a masterpiece, and I don't use that word lightly. I'm not joking. I'm not being facetious, or if I'm even using that word right. I, honest to goodness, think the Dadish trilogy, the 1, 2, and 3, are genuine gaming masterpieces. They are not complicated at all. They have simple, bright, easy-to-read visuals. They have incredible personality and astoundingly good writing. These games crack me up every time I play through them. They're just too funny. You are a radish who is a dad, Dadish, and your goofball children run away, and you have to find all of them, like by just doing basic obstacle courses. You can move, and you have a double jump, and that is it. That's what Dadish can do. There are occasionally vines you can climb on and like springboards you can bounce off of, but your abilities are just a double jump. That's it. And the entire game is just clever level design, expertly crafted around this basic mechanic, and it works so well. It is one of the most relaxing games. No, maybe not always relaxing, because the game can be pretty intense as far as how difficult it is, but it's perfect. It's just platforming perfection, just about. And all three of them are a joy to play. There's also Daily Dadish, which is a 1 level a day kind of thing, which is super cool. And then there's Dadish 3D, which is an interesting experiment, but I do think the 3 main 2D games are way, way better. You can get them all in the Dadish collection right now, which I highly recommend. Seriously, this is one of the defining games of the Switch generation to me, is the Dadish trilogy. It's too dang good. All right, sticking in mostly alphabetical order here, we have Dandara. So this game I got after Celeste, and it was one of the first games that I had played that really messed with gravity. I had played VVVVVV on 3DS and fell absolutely in love with that one, and wished with all of my heart that someday I could play it on my television. But in the meantime, I found this game on the eShop. This is in the early days of the Switch, that I thought had a really interesting look to it, and I wound up trying it, and I still don't think I've ever played anything quite like it. Your character can't walk, you just jump. So it's been years since I've played it. And I think they've done some really significant updates to it since then, including a really useful map function that I wish existed when I played through it the first time. But so you just point this arrow in a direction and you leap to the next flat surface. Like the whole game is just these series of leaps and obviously a little bit of combat as far as like shooting things. It's an extremely clever game. It is so good. I was just floored by this one when I played through it, and I tried to recommend it to everybody who had played Celeste, because this came out around the same time on Switch, and Celeste was just blowing up in popularity. And I was like, when you're done with that one, you've got to try this game. It's a bit different, but it's like a exploratory Metroidvania type thing. And if you like those kinds of games, this is really unique, and you've got to give it a try. And I don't know how many people did, but I was so impressed with this one, and it's one of those, Switch experiences that I'm never going to forget. Next up, Donut County. This game had been recommended to me a handful of times, and it was in comparison to Katamari Damacy, which is one of my all-time favorites. So that was a pretty bold move to compare that to Katamari, but when I finally did give in and play it, because I didn't do it at first, similar to when I was talking about Sayonara Wild Hearts in the last video, it did in fact floor me. Donut County is so good, and its soundtrack has a lot to do with it. It's got some really great writing, but it also has just such a good soundtrack and a really simple gameplay loop similar to Katamari. You're a hole in the ground, and you move it around, and the more things fall in the hole, the bigger your hole gets, the more things you can get to fall down the hole, and you clear a stage by getting all the things to fall down the hole. It's completely nuts. It has, again, it's just brimming with ridiculous personality. I could not love this game more. I've played through it like twice, I think, and it's just a hoot. And it's got a raccoon as one of the main characters. It's great. Okay, everybody 1-2 Switch. Oh, I can't believe I have to talk good about this game again. Every single time I have to say good things about this game, I get a little sick inside, because its presentation is just foul. This horse character, MC Horus or whatever they call him, is the worst. This game on the surface is just garbage, but I got assigned to review it for Nintendo Force magazine, and so I had a bunch of people over because they said it can go up to 100 players. So I think we had about 10 people over, and you can use Joy-Cons or you can use your cell phones to play these mini games. And if we didn't have the most fun imaginable while playing this, the one game that sticks out of my mind more than the rest of them is you had to run around and find colors. Like, so whatever space you're in, the game would give you a color, and with this was one of the modes you had to play with your phone. So it would access your camera, and you would have to take a picture of something that was as close to that color as you could find. And here I am in my basement, where I have all my video game collection out, and these 8 or 9 other people running around. We're all like looking at different game art boxes to try to find something that is that exact color. It was so much fun. It's ridiculously competitive when you get the right crowd of people together, because you split into teams, and the way it goes back and forth and handicaps you when you're doing super well. It's really clever. It's so bad. It's so embarrassing to look at sometimes. But if you want a party game, it's just one of the best party games I've ever played. And I hate to say that, because the original 1-2 Switch, I think it just makes me angry. I can't believe how good this game is. All right, I'm going to stop talking about it now. All right, I'm going to do the rest of this row. Just Shapes and Beats. Holy cow. This game is amazing. I've never cared about a square more in my entire life. This game is so effective in its storytelling, just based on, just from its music. Its soundtrack is unbelievably good. It's filled with all kinds of, I think EDM is the word for it, electronic dance music. I don't really know the terminology because I'm old and lame, but the music is so freaking good, and this game's really hard. You're just a little square, and the game is just shapes and beats. Everything is little geometric shapes, and you move around, and but it's telling this story of this, like, some sort of evil pink something that's destroying your world, and you're fighting against it as you go through, and you meet other shapes, and bad things happen to them, but then you can save them, and the game defies description. It's unbelievable. I cannot say enough good things about it. It is one of the best games on this platform, and I don't think it exists physically. I don't know. Maybe it does, and I've just never seen it. But it wouldn't surprise me just because of the music. There's so much music in there. I assume that some of the rights might be hard to get. I don't know. I don't know enough about it or its history. I just know that this game in particular right here, is one of the very best games on this platform, which is really saying something because there's so many games on Switch, but just wow. Just an absolute wow. Play Just Shake if you have any remote interest in rhythm-based games. Play this game. It's that good. All right, Katana Zero is up next. This one here, this was a kind of a surprise to me, and I think I got it. I think I got it for a review, or maybe I picked it up because I saw it in one of those Devolver Digital bouts of insanity that they have around E3 time. But this game is one of the coolest games I think I've ever played, and I don't think it's ever going to get a sequel because I don't think Devolver does sequels very much, but I hope it does because the story kind of ended on this weird, if I remember correctly, like almost time travel-y, like it took place in the future kind of cliffhanger. I don't know, man. This game melted my head. It's a really fun game to play. You're this ninja assassin type person, and it's 2D pixel art visuals that I'm sure you're looking at on the screen right now. But it's kind of hard, and it's really, really good, and it just blew me away. It's one of the most memorable experiences I've had on this platform. It just blew me away. All right, the last one I'm going to talk about for this video, as you can see, there's plenty more, but the last one, another one might be a little bit of a shock, Kirby's Dream Buffet. I love Kirby games. I used to love Kirby games a lot more back in the old days. The original Dreamland 2 on Game Boy, Adventure on NES is my favorite, all the way up through Nightmare in Dreamland, which is a remake of Adventure, on Game Boy Advance, I think was kind of where I started to fall off. But I really loved the old Kirby games, and as much as I had tried to get into them after that, they just never really stuck with me anymore until the Switch, which I'll probably talk about Forgotten Land at some point in the not-too-distant future. The Switch really got me back into the Kirby games, and I'm trying to go back and play a couple of the more of the ones that are on Nintendo Switch Online, like Amazing Mirror, just because I really like Kirby games. This one's a little bit of a different animal. This one's Kirby's Dream Course is actually one of my favorite games. Dream Course is a phenomenal game. If you've never tried it, it is on Nintendo Switch Online. It's a Super Nintendo game. It's basically Kirby Mini Golf. Started life as, I think, Special Tee Shot, which is kind of a different thing, and they put a Kirby license on it and added all the Kirby things to it, and really, the game really came together then, regardless. So Kirby's Dream Buffet is you're a Kirby, because there's multiple Kirbys, and you roll around, because you're just a little ball, and you're rolling around trying to eat as much as you can. And the more you eat, the fatter you get, and the goal is to be as fat as possible by the end of your little series of races, because it's like a racing game but also like a combat game almost, because you have to ram into each other and try to knock the food out of each other to not be as fat. This game deserves to. I can't believe this isn't local 4-player. It drives me up the wall that this only goes to 2 players locally, because if this was 4-player, this would get as much play in our house as Mario Party and Mario Kart. Like, it's that good. It is such a fun loop. And its soundtrack is a celebration of the entire Kirby series. Like, there's new interpretations of music from Kirby's Pinball Land, for crying out loud. There's all kinds of stuff in this soundtrack that absolutely rules if you've been playing Kirby games for ages and ages. But this game is too much fun. I'm sad that it doesn't exist physically. I'm so angry that it's not 4 players locally. But we do still play this game pretty often because it's too much fun. It's too much fun. It's one of the most enjoyable multiplayer games on the Switch. If you've skipped it because it looked like a Fall Guys ripoff or something, or just because it's one of the 50 bajillion Kirby games on the system, don't overlook this one. It's a really, really good game. There's not a ton to it content-wise. Like, there's a bunch of stuff to unlock, but it's just, cosmetic. outfits and stuff. The actual gameplay loop is so freaking good in this game. It's just a blast to play with friends. So there you go. That's the first dive into the digital only stuff that really defined the Switch. And well, that's that.
And, well, there you have it. I hope I'm able, through the miracle of editing, to have made this video as interesting as the physical Switch one, because just scrolling through a menu really isn't that visually exciting. But, you know, I'll probably filter in a bunch of game footage. Regardless, those are some of the digital-only Switch games, or at least ones that I only have digitally, that meant the world to me. But there's still so many more to talk about, and this has been really fun, so I'm going to keep doing these for every couple of weeks, because I think it's a blast just looking through these games that were just super awesome and talking a bit more about them. So, with that said, thank you everybody for watching. If you liked what you saw here today, please follow, comment, like, subscribe, share. Let us know down in the comments what Nintendo Switch games defined the generation for you. What digital-only games do you wish you had physically? And, well, anything else that you feel like sharing? Thank you very much again for watching. On behalf of all of us here at Stone Age Gamer, keep playing games.